Hello basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to talk to you about the 1-3-1 half-court zone defense. So hello everyone, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training. If you're new to this channel, on this channel I show you basketball plays, drills, and skills. So if you like that stuff, hit that like button and subscribe. But anyways, today I'm going to give you the half-court zone defense, the 1-3-1. This is not a press, this is just a sit-back zone defense. Okay, so in this video, what I'm going to do is explain the defense to you. I'm going to show you the zones that they're going to be covering, the double team areas, as well as how I teach this zone defense if I were to run it with a team, which I have in one season. This is not a very common defense that I run. However, I do respect it and I do like it, and I think it's useful for a lot of teams. So let me know in the comments below if this is useful for your team. Anyways, let's get down to the clipboard and let's check this out. Okay, so the red players are on defense, and what's going to happen is player 2, he is going to be covering essentially that area right there. Again, now player 3, red, is also going to be covering the same area, just on the other side of the court. We're going to have player 1 covering the point. We're going to have player 4 covering the high post. And then we have player 5 covering the low post. Now the double team areas are the low post areas right here, as well as the high post. And then also out on the wings, kind of the free throw line extended areas. At the same time, player 4's zone could reach all the way up to the point as well, depending on where player 1 is. There's a lot of flexing that goes on with this zone defense. So from there, let's get down to how I teach the zone defense, or this zone defense. First off, I explain the zones to my players on a clipboard like I just did with you. And then I'll have my players go on the court and they'll be able to find their spots on the court. Next, I'm going to set up 5 offensive players not to score, like how I have here. I'm going to set up in a very common formation, which is a 3-2, and I'm going to have my players pass the ball around. So player 1 is going to pass to player 3, and then I would move my players and say, where do you think you need to be playing? So we would have player 4 guarding most likely that high post area. We're going to be having player 5, red, move over to guard player 4 so that he can't get the ball, and player 2 is going to be moving down, guarding both player 2 and player 5. Next, we're going to pass the ball back around to the other side, and again, we're going to be moving our players into those same locations just on the other side of the court. Now we're going to pass down to the post, and I would explain, where do you think you should be having your team play if the ball is down in the post? Now what I would have is player 3 will go down and guard player 4, and player 4, red, would then guard that mid post. Now this is kind of deadly because we could have a pass out, but we would have player 1, red, take a few steps back so that now he could cut off that skip pass, the lob pass over, and also still guarding both player 1 and player 3. Player 2 could go down to double team the post, but that leaves the high player 2 open, so because obviously there's a player there. If there's no player there, then he could go down and double team, and I would explain this to my team as well. Now, moving the ball back out and around, they would move back to their locations, and then we would pass the ball over to this post, and then I would explain the same thing, have the players guard those areas, and then I would explain again, take that post or that wing player out of the equation, you can double team down in the post. If not, then he is still guarding that kick out pass. Now this defense is a very mobile defense. This defense does make your players think quite a bit. So depending on the skill level of your players, you may or may not want to use this defense. Anyways, tomorrow I'm going to go over some offensive plays to use against the 1-3-1 if you do decide or do happen to play up against a team running the 1-3-1. I'll see you guys again tomorrow for another daily basketball video.